Hello everybody, hello, welcome again to another session of Live Coding After Hours, Flutter Edition. I am Roman, Flutter GDE. Thank you so much guys. I see already a couple of the folks joining the chat, dropping your comments. Thank you so much for joining this session. Again, I'm Roman, I am a Flutter GDE. This is Live Coding After Hours, Flutter Edition, where I've been building this application for the past 12 weeks. Actually, I skipped the previous week because I was at a conference, but we're back on the horse. We're continuing working on this application. We're almost done. We have only 2 more sessions. Can you believe it? 2 more sessions and we're done. We're gonna be, in the next session, we're gonna be publishing to the Android Google Play, and in the following session, we're gonna be publishing to the iOS, the Apple App Store. So stay tuned for those. Those are gonna be the upcoming sessions. I just want to say thank you everybody for sticking around throughout all of these sessions. 12 sessions already we've been doing. This is the 12th one. Today we're gonna be handling how to prepare your application before you submit it. Just a couple of things. We're gonna keep it light as far as coding, because we're going to be addressing some of those things that people may neglect that actually even give your application an edge. Like, how do you present it to users? You want to do a cool, really cool icon. You want to do a very nice splash screen, like the launch screen for both Android and iOS. I'm gonna show you a couple of tips and tricks. I'm gonna show you a couple of tools that I use. Just want to see what you do also. Like, what do you use to, create your launch screens, your icons and whatnot, and then you integrate it in the application. So that's exactly what we're gonna be doing today. Just wanted to give a shout out to all the folks joining in the session. We're gonna keep it light, like I said. Make sure to tweet Flutter Live Coding so that you can get a cool Flutter t-shirt just like this one throughout the duration of this session. So let's see how much we can get done in about an hour or so. At the end of the session, I'm going to be raffling the Flutter t-shirt. So thank you, Randall. He was the first one joining. So thank you, Randall. Damien, how you doing, buddy? I know that you've been doing really good work there as well. Juan, how you doing? You told me that you were going to join, and here you are. Thank you so much. Serhan, I missed you, buddy. How you doing? How's everything going? Awesome. And none other than Dyer. He's a hardcore developer, gamer. He's always supporting us. Thank you so much, Dyer, for showing up. Thank you so much, everybody. So yeah, let's continue. Let's start right away. So again, for those of you who may have been under a rock and don't know what we've been doing, this live coding series has been about developing applications live. So this is the application. I hope you guys can hear me. This is the application that we've been building for the past 12 sessions. Go and check out the past 11 ones where we created the application from scratch. We did state management user provider. We did a Firebase. We did authentication. We did game, audio. We did share preferences. Oh my God, so many things that we implemented in this application. Today is the turn of actually polishing the application, getting it ready for submission, because the next session, I'm gonna be doing it live. I'm gonna be publishing to the Google Play Store. Yeah, I'm a wreck of nerves right now just thinking about that session. We're gonna be publishing it live. And then the next one, we're going to be doing it publishing to the iOS App Store. More nerves. So anyway, this is what we've been working on. It's a casual game. I call it Skipping Frog. It's pretty cool, developing it for Android and iOS. Only for mobile devices. Maybe in the future we can expand to other devices. But at least right now, we're going to only doing it for iOS and Android. We've been developing this casual game where users just swipe across the direction of the leaves, and then they make a little frog character just jump across the pond. So really a lot of cool things. It has leaderboards. We have Firebase integrated, Firebase authentication. We're doing Crashlytics. We're adding Firebase Cloud Firestore. So many things that we've added to this application, and we are almost about to submit it. This is proof that there's no excuse for you not to pick up Flutter and publish your own applications. I did it from scratch, and now I'm about to submit. That's how you should be doing. You put up like an MVP, like a minimal viable product, and then you take it from there. You get feedback from folks, and then you keep iterating over it. That's how you should be approaching, developing applications in Flutter or launching your own applications. Don't be afraid, just go for it. Great, so just want to say again, thank you so much. Make sure to tweet Flutter Live Coding throughout the duration of this session. We're going to be dealing now with the launch screens, icons, and all of that. So let's go now to the coding screen. I hope you guys are looking at it. So I know that some of you also are developing your own applications as well. I know, Damien, you're doing a really cool application for the Flutter London developer camp, for that dev camp. You're doing something really cool. You're implementing really nice stuff in there. I hope you can pick up a thing or two from this session where you actually polish your application, add an icon, a launch screen, and whatnot. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to start with just showing you where we left it off last time. So let me and I'm actually going to be running it in two emulators. I'm going to be running it in the Android emulator and the iOS emulator. You're going to see the application running because, no gimmicks in here and no rehearsing either. So I'm going to just run it initially. I could do a Flutter run -d all so that you can run on both devices, but I want to show one device at a time so that you don't get confused. So let's go for the iPhone first. So we're going to be launching it in the iPhone. You see what it looks like and exactly what you get out of the box with Flutter. So with Flutter already, it gives you like a little bit of scaffolding when it comes to like your launch icon. They give you like the Flutter logo and just something plain so that you can just take it from there. They also suggest some people, I don't know how you guys do that, like how you create your own icons. You guys have seen me use like Adobe XD for designing my own stuff. You've also seen me do like Figma. So you can pick up any of those. There are places where you can get royalty-free images, so that you can create like your own art and whatnot. I definitely suggest those. So I'm gonna show you a couple of those tools as well in here. So you see that's the launch screen. You saw that white screen in there. That shouldn't show anymore after we implement what we're gonna do, because we're gonna add like the launch screen for that. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. So let me show you where we left off. This is the launch screen. The application is preloading the assets at this point. Then after all the assets have been preloaded, then you get to the application. Remember, now we have our help. We have a help page, which we didn't have before. You see, it's the same thing that we actually see when we are on the onboarding session. So if we go back, you click on the options. I don't know if I told you, I descoped the difficulty. I'm gonna do it in the next version because I want to get to market as soon as possible. So the two things that I implemented was I can mute all the sounds and I can clear all the game data. And of course, view the leaderboards. Before, remember, we used to have the difficulty like easy or hard. We're gonna do that in the next session, in the next version. We're gonna get feedback from our users, and then we're gonna see whether they really want something like easy or hard and something like that. For that, I'm gonna be using remote config. Remote config allows you to even in where your applications are in production, you can roll out new features. And that's something that I want to get feedback from folks by using Firebase remote config. So we're gonna take a look at that maybe further down the line. But at least I just wanted to show that. And check this out. So you see every time that you click and you get like sounds and whatnot, I implemented this so that you can toggle all sounds and you don't get any sound. See, that's one shared preference that I wanted to implement. And of course, you can like clear all game data, but I don't have any game data associated right now. But if I just toggle this back on, so you get sounds again. So those are a couple of the things that I descoped the difficulty of the game, but then I brought in a couple more shared preferences, which is blocking all sounds, muting all sounds, and clearing the game data. Remember last time we were doing the leaderboard, so we are fetching the data from, and I still have our guys in there, I have Damien and Sirhan, my test users in the leaderboard. I'm the top one guy right there. There you go. But anyway, remember we did authentication in the last session. Make sure to watch episode 11. Today's episode number 12, where we're going to be polishing it a little bit more. But you see, we're pretty much there. You can't submit unless you have a valid score and you're logged in. Remember that part where you can click and you can log into the application. Remember, when we click, we should be able to see like you say skipping frog and whatnot and all of that. So we log in, you get the application. Actually, why don't I just do it so I can show you where we are. So I'll select that. You will see my name and all of that. So we only allow you to submit your score when your score is greater than 0, when it's a valid score, and you are logged in. So those are the requirements for that. Remember the game remains the same playability. You get to see the onboarding part. This also, when I say never show this again, we persisted in a local storage, and then you don't get that anymore. And then remember, you can play the game. Right now, I'm still making it a short version of the game so that you guys can see what it is when it ends. And then when I finish the game ends. Now you can submit your score. My score was 12 seconds, 400, the score. And then if I click submit score, you see that submit score. Now I can submit it. But it's pretty much the same thing. I can submit the score, and there it is. Now I should be able to see my name with my updated score, and that is already persisted in Firebase Cloud Firestore. So this is how far we got this application. Is ready to be published. I know some of you are ready to immediately start playing this game. I'm gonna even then try to see if I can get some test users, like some of you. Maybe if you wanna help me test this application, help me test the game, and you wanna take a crack at it, I would love for you guys to do that. Thank you, a few folks who have joined. Who do we have? Marco. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Thank you so much for joining, as always. An amazing Flutter developer, a published author, has joined our crew. So thank you so much for watching. So let's continue. This is the application. Now let's continue. Now remember what we wanted to do today. So you see the application doesn't have any icons, any launch icons. Looks, just the Flutter icon. For as much as I love that icon, I would love to actually personalize it a lot more. So remember, when you click it, there's that white screen in there. There's no launch screen. That's exactly what we want to do. Another thing that I wanted to show you and that I wanted to let you know about is the fact that whether you're supporting portrait or landscape, those are a couple of the things that you really want to make sure to make those decisions up front, because that may affect your usability, your game's usability, or your application's usability. In my particular case, I want my users to always be in portrait mode, whether it's portrait up or portrait down. I'm not supporting landscape. So how would you do that? Some of you may do, I see, okay, great. I see a couple already volunteers. I will definitely reach out to you guys if you give me your emails, and then I can add you. I'm going to do test flight. I'm going to add, maybe test users in the Android version, on both versions actually, and then I can get some feedback, or I can just publish it right away. You guys can immediately download it. We can do either way. Thank you guys anyway. So again, like I was showing, I don't want to support landscape mode, so I'm going to just show you what it would look like. So if you flip it, you see it looks like this. That's not how it should be. So if I try to flip it again, you see that's exactly that. I'm not supporting landscape at all. I want to only force it to be portrait up and down. There's a couple of ways that you can do it. But if you want to keep it on the Flutter side of things and you want to force it at that level, you want to do it with just like one line of code, but it's synthesized like in 3 lines of code. So let me show you. That's something that I've done in a couple of applications that I'm just gonna copy paste the code real quick because it's really simple. So if I go to your main.dart, for example, you want to do it at the rootmost widget, so that then it enforces it in the whole hierarchy. So in this particular case, you see that I have my build method. My build method is called, actually the main application, the main whole application is just called Skipping Frog app, right? So that is the let's say the rootmost widget pretty much. And then you have which is application, which is a stateless widget, and then I have my build method. So some people either do it at every individual platform, for every individual platform, but if you do it like this, then you can actually take care of that by doing this piece of code, which will force your application to be in one particular mode. So let me zoom in on the code so you guys can see it. So if you use the system Chrome, set preferred orientations, and then you force those orientations, for example, to be portrait up or portrait down, then that actually kind of overrides like each individual platform, and then you force your let's say the orientation of your device or of your application to be what you define in here. Other options are, you see landscape left, landscape right, portrait down, portrait up, or whatever. You can do that because those are like enumerations. But in my case, I want to support portrait up or portrait down. That way it's always in the vertical fashion, in the vertical view. So now if I rebuild my application, let's take a look at what it would look like, for example, like if I try to do it now. So I'll try to just reload the application. I lost connection to the device. That's totally fine. I'll clear it, and then I'll reload it. So I'm gonna just say Flutter run. This is the simplest approach that you can use. There are other approaches that you can use to do it. You can do it at each individual level. You could do it. You could do it maybe as a preference or something like that. In my particular case, I just want to do it. Force it all the way down from the beginning, from the top widget down, so that it forces it in the whole hierarchy. That way, it just shows it like that. Great. So I'm gonna start it right now. I'm gonna restart the application. I'm gonna launch it on both devices, but because I said I don't want to support landscape, I only want to do portrait. So let's just do that. In this case, I'm just saying at the root level, at the root widget, pretty much the application itself, we're gonna trickle that down, and then that way we'll force it like that. And then now we'll try it again on the emulator, and then we should be able to see. I'm gonna flip it and then see what it does. So it launches. We're gonna get rid of this screen in a minute when we do our launch screens, which is okay. It's taking a little bit. Okay, there we go. We launch it, and then now we're gonna go to the main application, and now we'll see if it actually trickles down to that. So now if it's forcing one orientation. So after this, now we'll try to flip it, and you see it remains the same way. So that's exactly what I want. If I flip it to landscape, it still remains portrait. If I flip it the other way around, it should have turned around, like in the actual device, it would just like turn. But in this particular case, at least I wanted to make sure that when I'm in landscape mode, it still remains in portrait. That way, I'm like, oh, I forget to actually make it responsive. In this particular way, my widget is my application, my game is only going to be responsive on the vertical side because I've actually even tried it on a couple of devices. I think I have a couple of devices around here. I have one like Android, like one of these. I don't know if you guys are seeing. Like this device, I have this device. I have my iPhone, of course, but I even have like small tablets. I'm gonna support like small tablets as well. So I'm gonna keep it responsive on the vertical aspect. So perfect. So now I'm gonna bring it back this way. Now let's try it on the Android. So I'm gonna run it on the Android. Remember, you can continue to Flutter run. You can do -D and pick the device. In this case, I'm gonna run it on that emulator, on the Android emulator, and let's see what it looks like. So remember, instead of me going to Android Studio or to the Android manifest and say, oh, these are the type of resolutions that I support, or go into each individual one. Like in iOS, I'm gonna show you where you could actually set that up. But by doing it here, you're actually forcing the application to do it. So let's try to do it here as well. So I believe you do it like this. You see, it also remains in portrait mode. Even when you flip it, you can flip it back the other way, and it still remains that way. So that's one of the things that I didn't want to overlook before I proceed and start doing some of the other stuff, because I don't want you guys to forget this part right here. Great. So now I'm gonna move this over to the side. Now let's get to the meat of this session, which is building your icons, building your launch screens, and making your application a lot more polished. Make sure to tweet Flutter Live Coding at the end of the session. I'm going to be raffling a Flutter t-shirt just like this one. Please do it. Make sure to do it. Tweet with the hashtag Flutter Live Coding at the end of the session. I'm going to raffle the t-shirt. So now let's proceed. I'm going to show you what I'm going to be using as far as my icon goes. So I'm going to just dismiss my application one more time. And you see that the icon is the Flutter one. So let me show you where they are. For Android, like the way that it looks, like here in Android, you should be able to find them here where it says app, and you go app, source, main, res, it stands for resources, and then you have a bunch of folders in here. So what are these? Like, what are these? The drawable are like assets, like resource images and whatnot. So, and also you can use like some XML configuration in the case of Android. When you find these folders called like mip-map-HDPI, remember HDPI stands for density dependent pixels, like dots per inch. So those density independent pixels that Android uses to render like assets in the screen, you need to actually honor those. Why? Because there are multiple types of devices different resolutions, and you want to actually, kind of like provide the correct image and the correct resolution image so that it displays correctly on all of those devices. Remember, some devices have like a logical pixel, and then some like you have a virtual pixel and physical pixels. In the case of like retina display and like those high density pixels, it's like you have one logical pixel for like 4 physical pixels, and then you can pack more pixels inside, and then that way your images look a lot sharper. That way it gives you like nice resolution. So in this case, there's a file named exactly the same under each one of those folders. If you see, the images change in resolution and size, because if the according of the density of your device, it will actually pick up the correct image and then render it. In this particular case, is using this for the launcher. If you click here, so it says IC launcher .png, because it's using that as the launching image, as you can see right there. So you see, we have for high density devices, medium density, 1x, 2x, 3x, because it's kind of like the same thing as in iOS, like 1x, 2x, 3x, representing the multiple types of retina levels of display that they have, like the resolutions. So we have all those images, but do you actually have to create those images yourself? You could. There are ways that you can do it. I'm going to show you one of the tools that I've used. I don't know which tools you use. I use this one. Again, please drop it in the chat if you say, no, I don't use that. Maybe there's a better way. I'm showing you a couple of options. Remember, I always provide to you not just the run-of-the-mill regular options that you have out there. I give you alternatives. So in this particular case, this is called App Icon Generator. You can find a bunch online. There's a bunch. In this case, you actually give an image. For example, like at a minimum, you give an image 1024 by 1024. Then out of this image, then it generates, like automatically gives you all those sizes of the images that you require. For example, in this particular case, I'm gonna go to my Figma design, and then I'm gonna show you all my icons and whatnot. So here you go. So these are my icons, these are my images. Perfect. See, I have like this is gonna be my icon, which is 1024 by 1024. I have some images already pre-created, and these are the way that they're supposed to be generated for your needs. For in my particular case, I need all those images because I'm gonna bring them into the project. For the case of, let's say, Android, then I need 5 different images corresponding to each one of the different levels of resolution that are supported throughout the vast amount of devices out there. It is very fragmented in the Android side of things, but it's okay. At least, these 5 types of resolutions will cover all my bases. But again, yes, you could do it like this and generate them yourself, or you can just provide one single image and then it generates all of them for you. So let me give you that option. So for option number 1, you can use something like, you can do it yourself, generate them, and then you drop them in those folders, overwrite them, and then you're good. In this case, you could do this. You can add one image. I'm going to drag that image. I already have it prepared for you. So I'm going to go, I think I called it Skipping Frog iOS. I think it's I call it Skipping Frog Launch. I'm going to just drop it in here. And that is 1024 by 1024. So I'm going to say I'm going to do my Android. It's going to generate 4 different sizes. And I don't know why he's skipping one, but this actually does like 4 different sizes. Then if, let's say I'm going to support iPhone, which are the 2 devices that I'm supporting. See, this one is going to generate 11 different sizes. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. They're actually going to be called IC Launcher. Why? Because it already comes like that. It already comes as an IC Launcher, like by default. So they're already naming it like that. So I'm going to hit Generate. I'm going to hit Generate right here. Boom. I get a zip file, like a zip right here. I'm going to double click on it. And let me show you what it looks like. So this app icons folder, then it generates this for you. Generates a folder with all, see, they say 4, but actually they generated the correct 5 images. So you see here, now I get all the images already generated for each corresponding size. Very simple, in one single swoop. All I need to do is now just grab that whole folder and drop it in my project, and I'm done. That's it. So there it is. Look, I have all my images in the correct sizes. I'm all good. I don't have to do anything. Now check this out. For the assets for the iOS, let me show you how he does it in the iOS. So that was for Android. If I go to iOS, let me show you what it looks like. So in iOS, it's actually a lot more images. No, I'm not moving anything to trash. I'm gonna reveal it. Let me open my application in Xcode. There we go. Perfect. So check this out. So if I go to my assets right here in the iOS project, if I go to assets and I go to app icon, you see how many icons you're gonna have to be dragging? It's a little bit tedious, but it also generates all these images, and all you have to do is just copy them and drag them in here, and then you're all done. So that is one way to do it. That is one way to do it. But look at this. It looks, all of the Flutter icons are here. All good. You can do it like this. It's totally fine. You can just drag them because you have specific needs. Even it takes care of the App Store one. That's what I love about it. Okay, I'm going to move this over to the side. That was option number 1. Option number 2. You can use a Flutter package. I think somebody already gave it away. Yeah, bro, Damien already, I think he gave it away. But there is a Flutter package that you can use that does all of that for you. All you have to do is just point it to where the image is, and all is that taken care of for you. So let me show you. And that's exactly the approach that we're going to be using today. So let me show you what the package is and how to do it. So that is option number 2, like I said. So how do you do it? You're going to install one package, and it's available publicly, in pub.dev. I'm going to show you what the package is. So the package is called Icons Launcher. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go to pub.dev. The package is called Icons Launcher. Icons Launcher, you can even also use Flutter Launcher icons, either one of the two. I suggest Icons Launcher, not only because it's the top one that comes out, but I usually look at the scores on the packages. Like this one is, very well accepted. It has great scores, because if you go to the, let's say for example, if you go back to the Flutter Launcher icons, if you look at the scores, yeah, so a couple of dubious scores, but it's all good. Let me, not criticizing anybody, but yeah, let's go back to the Icons Launcher. So the Icons Launcher is much simpler. It supports all of the platforms. It gives you icons for all of the platforms. All you have to do is just provide a little bit of configuration. You just run the package, and that's it. It takes care of creating all the images for you. It places them all in the folders where you need to go, and then you should be done. You don't have to do anything else. So now for our particular case, I have this icon, which is the one, remember, I have 2 icons to generate. One the icon and one for the launch screen. More work, but now we're going to be using a more automated way of doing it. So the package that we're going to install, of course, is the Flutter, the Icons Launcher. So I'm going to say Flutter, right? Flutter pub add icons _ launcher. Let me just install it for you. So there it is. So we're going to install it. It's getting installed. Perfect. Change any dependencies. All good. Now let's go to the pub/spec.yaml. So we're going to go to the pub/spec.yaml. All good. And we installed the Icons Launcher. So if we follow the instructions in here, all we need to do is just copy this, and you add the platforms that you're going to support. In my case, I'm only supporting iOS and Android, only iPhone, like only small devices. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So you copy this at the root of your pub/spec.yaml. So let me copy my configuration. I'm going to come over here at the root. It cannot be under anything. It has to be at the root. So I'm going to paste that. So check this out. So I say Icons Launcher. The image path is the image that is in my assets, images, and I already have it right here. It's called Skipping Frog Icon. So Skipping Frog Icon is this one. That is what I want my icon to be. Let me close this. Let me now, you see that's the path to the image, just like in the instructions. These are the 2 platforms that I'm going to support, which are Android and iOS. I'm going to save my YAML. All good. Remember, you could have gone the first way, which is nothing wrong with that. It's just that there's a little bit more involved. But now, after you do this, check this out. Look at it one more time. I'm going to go to the app, source, main, res, and all my bitmaps. There's still the Flutter icon, right? There's still the Flutter icon. And in my iOS are still the Flutter icons. I'm going to close it so that you see this is like voodoo or like black magic or something like that. Let me show you. So after you do this, all you need to do, like Damien just mentioned it, is just running this command, and then you're done. So I'm gonna go to the command line. I'm gonna run this command, flutter pub run icons launcher create. This will grab that icon, create generate the necessary images at the right sizes. You got to give it just a big image, like 1024 by 1024, just one image you give it. Now when I run this, I'll hit enter. I'll just let it do its own thing, and that's it. I know you don't believe it. Let me show you. You don't believe it. I know. Let me show you. Now, now look, the app folder is green. Why? Because something happened in there. So check this out. So now if I go to the app source main res min map and whatnot, now the icon got replaced. There it is. Look, every single icon got replaced according to the specifications of that. I don't have to do like any calculations or crazy resizing of my icons. It's all taken care of for me. And now let me go back to the iOS and take a look if it actually got generated for me there as well. So I'm gonna go open my runner C workspace. So I'm gonna open it up in Xcode. I'm just bring it over, and voila, all my images have been replaced. You could have done it the manual way, or you could have done it the easy way, like some of us, just running a command, pointing it to the image, and then you're all set. Now we've taken care of the icons, but let's run it. Let's see, because still you see that Flutter icon right there. So that is a problem. I need to see that icon. So I'm gonna close here. Let's run it again. We're gonna run it on both platforms one more time. And while I run this, make sure to tweet Flutter Live Coding. At the end of the session, I'm gonna raffle a Flutter t-shirt just like this one. So stay tuned, guys. Let me do it for both platforms once again. So I'm gonna say Flutter run. I'm gonna say Flutter run. I'm gonna try one more time. You'll see the skipping frog is still the Flutter. I'm gonna do the iPhone. Now you will see it probably instantaneously is gonna replace itself by the new icon, and now I've taken care of the icon. Very simple, in a very simple way. Damien says, is there a package similar to that one for the splash screen? I don't know of that one. That's the only one that I've done that I still do manually. But I think there are packages. I haven't used it myself because I've been tweaking like the splash screen myself. But that is a very good point. Does anybody know of a good package that does it for the splash screen? It would be amazing. I think the reason why is also because there are other files involved. It's not just like external images that you use. You actually tweak all the things. But it would be great to know about that. I'm pretty sure there's got to be something for that. But let's see. But that's a great question. Thank you, Damien. So check this out. If I just dismiss this guy, this one is still showing here in the springboard. But now I'm gonna completely remove it so that now it gets picked up. So let me delete it. Perfect. Now we're gonna try it again because it needs to pick up like the new files and whatnot. So let's kill it completely. We're gonna hit Flutter run. Let's try one more time. Now we should pick up the updated files one more time. So I'm gonna hit 2. Now we should see the new one. I've seen it. I'm pretty sure I've seen it like change the icon, but this case, my emulator didn't want to behave, but that's okay. Make sure to tweet Flutter Live Coding. During this session, at the end of the session, I'm gonna raffle a Flutter t-shirt. Again, guys, 2 more sessions. The next session, I'm gonna be publishing this to the Google Play. The following one, then is gonna be publishing to the iOS App Store. So wish me luck on that. I know it's gonna be like some, I'm gonna be wrecking my nerves and all of that. So let's take a look at the icon, and there it is, skipping frog icon. Now we're all set on the iOS side of things. Let's try on Android now. Let's see what it did. So I'm gonna completely dismiss the application, or maybe I'm just gonna actually just delete it. So let me just delete the whole thing. I'm gonna do uninstall it. Okay, perfect. Let me uninstall it. Now let's run it on Android. Flutter run. I'm gonna run it on that emulator. That way you guys can see it. So we're running it on this emulator. And now we should be able to see the icon for Android for the skipping frog, not the Flutter one. Okay, so let's wait. There it is. It starts launching, but that's okay. That's all good. But you see, it's still using. If I dismiss that, it was using that as the launch screen. We're gonna fix that in a minute, and I'm gonna show you how to do that. So let me just dismiss this, And then if I come over, you see now the icon is there. So the skipping icon frog, now we get the icon in there. So you get the skipping frog as the icon for the launch icon for Android. So now we've taken care of the launch icon. Now let's proceed with the splash screen, like the first launch screen. Let's go with that. I'm gonna move this over to the side, and then I'm gonna proceed to do that. So again, if you want to do it for the iOS one, we're going to start with the iOS, because again, I don't have a package to do it like that. We're going to have to do the manual way, but only for that aspect. We're going to show you two different processes for doing it on iOS and Android, a little bit more intricate, but let's go with those. So I'm going to open up my Xcode. I'm going to launch my Xcode right here, and then let me show you how to go about it. I already have the images pre-created. Remember, we already generated them in that zip file. So all I need to do, I've already taken care of the app icon. Now I go to the launch image. The launch image is then that one that shows initially, briefly, before then you see our official splash screen, which is animated. This one is not animated. It actually is just like a fixed image, and that's exactly what we're going to be looking at right now. So I'm going to move this over. This is the only instance where you're actually in the Xcode world. Other than that, you didn't see me come over the Xcode route and do coding in here. Everything was outside. So all I need to do is just drag those three images that got generated for me. Remember, in that folder, in the download. So let me show you. I should be able to have, like, in the assets, like those, like some of those, these are for the icons, but I already have the ones for the three sizes that I need. The one, meaning the normal size, then twice the original size, then 3 times the original size. It's just that. It's just the same image, but at 3 different sizes, because that way then iOS then would programmatically would know what type of device are you running this application. I'm gonna load the corresponding one. So that's exactly what we're gonna do here. So all you need to do here, you have your images prepped. In my particular case, like I showed you, let me show you my Figma file. My Figma file, you can actually go to, there's a bunch of places out there where they show you like all the sizes that they need to be. So all you need to make sure, for example, in my particular case, the original image, like the 1X, has to be 640 by 1136. Then twice of that, the 2X is 750 by 1334, and then the 3X is 1242 by 2208. Those are the 3 sizes that I'm gonna require for me. All I'm gonna do is just gonna drag them into that. That's all I'm doing. So I'm gonna grab the 1, just drag it over. That's 1. I'm gonna grab the 2 right here, and I'm gonna grab the 3 right here. Simple as that. This is showing like that, but it's because they kind of like point to that same like image. Another way that you can actually tweak it is you come over here to the runner, and then you go to launch screen. Right here in launch screen, you see it. So it's because of that. Like, you wanted to first pick up that image. Now if you come back to the assets, you know, it's gonna go away eventually, but you have to kind of like tweak it in here, right? Then here you can try, for example, like even resizing the image. The appropriate one is gonna display accordingly in here. So for example, in this particular case, this one looks like that, but it's because, you know, you need to like adjust it and whatnot. You can change the constraints and whatever. These are like, you know, you can center the image, you can change that. All of those things you can definitely take care of here. You can, you know, let's say I wanted to look maybe a little bit more centered and whatnot. You can do anything you want in here, right? So another thing that I usually like to do is, for example, like some aspects that, of this splash screen, you can even change the color. The image could have been maybe like a PNG, and then you can change the background. You can change the background. You can come over here where it's just like view, and then you can take a look, for example, at the properties. Let me show you again. Like for these, let me go back again to the launch screen right here, and you see here. If I expand this guy, sorry, expand the wrong one. Okay, now I have like a bunch of things expanded. That's okay. But here, the launch image, if you see it right here, I'm clicking the wrong stuff. So sorry about that. Let me just do this, and then I'll just close this again so that I can see like better. So anyway, all I wanted to show you is how you drag these images in here, like mainly, and then once you have like your 3 images dragged, then you should be good. Let's try, for example, one more time on the, let me just close the runner. I'm gonna close Xcode, and let's see if at least it picked it up. See, I didn't have to come back over here to Flutter and do anything. It should pick it up automatically. So now let me try saving here. I am going to reload. I'm gonna say Flutter run, and I'm gonna run it for iOS. All I needed to do was just drag it. I was just messing around with the images and whatnot, but that's okay. I'm gonna do number 2, which is iPhone 14. It's either maybe I could have deleted it. That way, I make sure that I pick up like the new version. So I'm gonna delete it. It's gonna launch. Make sure to tweet Flutter Live Coding at the end of the session. I'm gonna raffle a Flutter t-shirt as always. Again, as a token of my appreciation for you guys to sticking around through these 12 sessions. 12 sessions so that we can get to this point and be able to launch our application. So thank you everybody for sticking around. Yes, Damien, if there's one, yeah, I definitely will take a look at that one. I've seen it. I've seen that one. I would love to try that. So let's see. Here it's still showing like the see, now it's loading, but then it still showed like that white screen. It's just because of that, like the initial portion. But you see, it showed me the like some white spaces on the like top and bottom. We're gonna fix that. So let's go back again to my Finder. I'm gonna reveal it in Finder, and let me show you what I do. So the way that I do that, yes, I think there's yeah, for iOS, Android, and web, and that's pretty good. Like it's definitely like the way to go about it. So I'm gonna go back again here to the view, and then I go to launch image right here, and then like this. Okay, so it's because of that. So I want to change. Let me see. I think. This is the panel that I wanted. Perfect. So you see the image was showing, but I didn't want it to show like fully what I wanted to do. I wanted to keep it there, but I also want to apply like a background color. So here in the background, I'm just gonna pick like a recently used color, like black. I could just use like a black color for that for the background. So it still shows the image in front, but if let's say that's a PNG transparent and you still want maybe like a precise color you want to be provided by the system, then you add that background right there. So now let me save it. Well, actually, just keep it like that. Just change the background, the launch image on top, and then let's do that. You don't have to worry about, for example, anything like let me go back over here. You don't have to worry about like the let's say the top bar, like the header or anything like that, because you could also even take care of that from the Flutter side of things. You can even say hide the status bar and whatnot, but I want to keep it just very simple. Let's do it again. I'm gonna close it. Let me reload this now. I'll make sure to, well, I'm just reloading it. That's still the basic one. So let me just kill it. I'll delete it. I'll delete it completely. Then let's try it again. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna say Flutter run. Let's try one more time. I'm gonna do and then now we should see it full screen. So I'm gonna do number 2. That is the iOS. 9:43. We have 50 more minutes left. Let me see how much I can get with this. How much I can cover with this. I'm gonna go over the Android side of things so that we can do then the splash screen in there. I'm gonna show you what it requires, and then we'll do it. So perfect. So now this is building. We should be able to see it will still show like that, like a little bit of the white screen at the beginnings, because it's kind of like, you would say like it's warming up, and then it loads, but then immediately you will see the full screen. Okay, it's still showing. I need to fix that part. But yes, the way that I was doing it, I remember last time that I did it, I was actually, let me see, I'm pretty sure that it should have gotten persisted. Like if I go again to here, to the Xcode, let me do it one more time. Let me just make sure that it actually is taking care of that for me. For some reason, it didn't pick up. Like the white space, like full screen, it should have displayed for me. So if I come over here, I said that the background color is black, the alpha is 1. I didn't apply any constraints or anything. I don't have to do anything at this layer. I don't have to do anything in here either. So my launch screen, I think I said center. Oh no, there it is. Scale to fill. This is what I had. Scale to fill, so that it fills the whole screen. That's another option that you can use. you don't want to use that, then you can try that. I want to make sure that this, okay, so see, I think I needed to save in this particular case. So let me hit save. I make sure that I have a background color kind of like as a backup. I do the content mode scale to fill so that it actually fills up. And now I'm going to try again. So I'm going to close it. I closed it. I have to kill it. Sorry about that, guys. Because I truly want to see that the whole thing just showing up. And I want to make sure that the new updated files get picked up. So let me do it again. Flutter run. Awesome. Then after this, we're going to proceed to the Android one. You see, it may be a little bit more intricate, but that's okay. You should still see it work. So great. So it's great that you guys, Dyer, you're like going like, go, go, go. Yes, that's right. So let's see. So it's going to launch. We already took care of the screen of the icon. Now we should be able to take care of the launch screen. Those are things that some people overlook. You want to be able to have like something, of course, related to your application that it looks nicely, you know, aesthetically speaking, looks nice, simple. Go minimalist. Don't go for like maybe line icons, a simplified version of your icon, something like that. It's still showing, but that's okay. I can you know, continue tweaking in here. Because I know the time is running out, but at least you saw that the launch screen is there, it's showing. I just need to tweak the fact that it needs to show full screen and that it shows like completely, right? Perfect. Okay. So now let's say I took care of the iOS. I'll continue tweaking on that, but I don't want to overlook the fact that I want to show you on the Android side. So let's move on to the Android side of things. Let's try that. So now the Android, the way to do it in the Android, and I'm going to move this over and I'm going to move my Android. Now, how do you do, let's say, a launch screen in Android? If we don't do it, for example, with a package like the one that Damien mentioned, like maybe a specific package, if we're still doing it, let's say the manual way, the way that you do it is like this. So if you saw in the app folder, you saw the source right here, the main, res, and then you have two files, one called launch background and launch background under the V21 folder. So these two are actually the ones that actually take care of the launch screen for Android devices. So this is the way that you do it. You still do it the XML way, and it comes with still with the latest starter project for Flutter. So you still tweak these, and then that's how you see the launch screen. So how do you do it in Android? Let me show you how to do it in Android. So the way that you do it is, one of the things that I do is, I don't know how you guys do it. I define a new file, a new XML file that defines the colors. In this case, I create a new file and I call it colors.xml. Colors.xml, just like in the other configurations in Android, as you may know, some of you that do Android, you provide those values, like those configuration values, as key values in XML. Like you provide those values in there. In my particular case, I want to provide something like just for the colors. So the colors, you can find even something like this, the way that the styles are, and you see that it says like resources, and then you provide like the name of the style. You provide these values in here, and then you pull the values programmatically from, let's say, from your main activities and whatnot. In the case of colors, it looks like this. It's also still a resource, but I'm just gonna paste this little bit of code in here, and this is what you need. You provide an XML called colors, you add the resource root tag, and then you add a field called like another tag called color. You provide a name to it. For example, in this case, I'm going to call it BG color, like for the background. And then here you define the hex value representing the color that you want in your launch screen. In my case, I want it black. So that's just black right there. So I define my colors.xml. Now I need to know how to pull this color into the launch screen. How do you do that? So after I define the colors.xml, I need to say now, okay, so you're gonna have to pull these values from somewhere. How do you do that? Just because I provide values and I call it colors.xml, I can come right here to my launch background.xml. And actually, you have to do it on both places. If you go here to that, launch background, the way that you pull those values from the colors XML is like this. Right here, we have like a white because I believe you saw that when we clicked it, we saw that the background was white. So we want to change that to black. So this is how you pull for example, like here in the launch background, the drawable, meaning like the drawable area in the screen. So we're gonna provide like the rootmost element will be a color, like a solid color. The way that you do it is to say @color, and then you do just like the way they do, like /BG color. By doing this, I'm referring to this color that is here, the BG color. And then this is just saying, add the background color that is here to here so that it renders in the screen as the whole background for the whole screen, for the launch screen. Now I'm just gonna grab the same value. I'm gonna save it, and I'm gonna go over to my other one, the drawable V21. So you do it to this one as well. I'm just gonna paste it in here. Now we've taken care of those two. If I run it like this, you will only see the background just black, but we still need to show the image on top, like the launch screen, right? So I'm gonna save all this. Let me kill it. Let me kill this. I'm gonna say Flutter run. Let's see what it looks on Android if it's picking up this value. I don't think it's still there yet, but at least let's see what it shows. So I'm gonna go to the number one. There we go. I think we need one more thing to pull that. But anyway, let's try it. So we're gonna do it. Again, nothing is rehearsed. That's why, again, I try to do this from previous experience that I do, and then okay, there it is. You see? So it picked it up. But you still saw like that background, like the white thing behind it. So we want to remove that. And it was just showing that image. I don't want to show that image. I don't want to show that default image that is there. And that's exactly why this is commented out. I didn't want to talk about it, but I think it was just showing it right in front of you. These configurations already have this commented out. This is what you show in the center of the launch screen. So all you need to do is just provide one image inside of those corresponding folders in Android, and then it will just display it for you. So now all you need to do is say, uncomment this guy out, provide an image called launch image, or in my case, I think I already have them generated. I think I'm calling them skipping frog splash. Just have them in this folder. Remember, when I generated them in that folder, I think I already get them. So I have them here. Let me show you my icons. I have them here already. So it's called skipping frog splash. All I'm gonna do now is just gonna drop them into each corresponding folder, and then I should be good. So all I need to do is uncomment this. This is already given for me by Flutter in this configuration. So all I'm gonna do is just copy this. What this is gonna do again for the launch screen is gonna be black, and then it's gonna show me that splash screen, that image, that splash image right on top of it, like this one. Let me show you, like that one. So it's gonna show it right in front. That's all it's gonna do. So I'm gonna drop each file in a minute, but I need to move this over. I'm gonna copy this over to my other launch background, just making sure that we do have that. That's that. So I took care of that. I took care of the launch background. I took care of both of them. Now I need to drag those images, remember, in each map folder. I need to grab that image called skipping frog _ splash, drag it into each one. So I know you hate seeing this, me doing this, but I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna drop this one here, this one under this one under the X, this one under the double X, and this one on the 3X one. There we go. So I've dropped them there. I think I should be able to have all of them. Perfect. I move this over to the side. Another thing that I suggest you also do, which this is actually in the documentation of when you go in Flutter, when they say build your Android app for submission. There's one piece in the manifest that they suggest adding that I usually have it in my notes. I'm gonna drop it now for you. In the next session where we're gonna do the submission, we're gonna go over other more deeper topics. This is just basically just taking care of the icons and the splash screens. In this particular case, I go to the Android manifest for Android, and of course you need to make sure that your name is properly named. But there's one thing that you need to add under here. in between this is the launcher. This is the theme, like the normal theme, but then you need to drop this thing right here. Look, I'm gonna drop something. This one is saying that appoint the splash screen drawable, meaning overwrite the default launcher that it already gives you by the one that is provided by Flutter in the drawable folder. Remember, it's called launch background. So what it's gonna do is gonna go to either one of these two folders. It's gonna grab this XML and then it's gonna overwrite the splash screen drawable by this thing, which is gonna be just black screen with an image in front of it, and that's it. So after you do that, now I'm gonna save the whole thing. I'm gonna save all. I'm gonna kill it, and of course delete this thing because I don't need it. So I'm gonna just swipe that. I'm going to delete my application one more time. Perfect. Now I'm gonna run it once again, and I think after this we should be good. Make sure that in the next 4 minutes you tweet Flutter Live Coding, so that then we can raffle the Flutter t-shirt at the end while I build this thing, and hopefully this one actually works better for us, but let's try it again. So I'm gonna now launch the Android application. We should be able to see it fully black with the skipping frog icon in the center, and then that way we should see it. So now there it is. You see, now we showed the initial portion is just like the launching, like the springboard. Let me just show it again. Let me just launch it one more time. You see the black screen with that icon in the center. That's what it is. So I'm gonna click it. There it is. Then our screen, then our launch screen. So that's exactly how you want to do it. You show, and even it kind of even showed like a little animation. I didn't do that at all. Like the Android kind of did that. Let me do it again. So if I launch it, I saw like that icon like moving a little bit. So if I launch it, there it is. It's like slid up a little bit, then it showed. So I like this experience a lot better. For the Android, it was a little bit smoother. For the iOS, I still need to tweak a few things in the Xcode side of things, but that's no problem. I should be able to get it. But that's it, guys. See, in 1 hour we covered taking care of making sure that your application is forced to be one particular orientation. In my particular case, I wanted it to be portrait, either up or down. We went over generating icons for our application for all the supported devices and for all types of places where it displays, even the App Store. We also did it, we did our launch screen, we did it for iOS, and we did it for Android. You saw how I did it manually, but based on, why it still shows the yellow one? Yeah, that is this particular, I think there's a configuration that you need to do in your Android so that it doesn't display that. It's a little weird. But I can find that out for you because I've seen it in other Android devices that it doesn't show like the circle with the original icon and then like that white thing. Like it's usually like sometimes I've seen it. It varies from OS to OS, but it may be wrong. But I can definitely find that out for you. But at least we were able to see the main launch screen, which I wanted to do. Great. So we're done, guys. This is it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys sticking around, giving me suggestions. You guys saw how easy it was. Of course, you need to tweak a little more. It's not just, let me just do it and it will be like completely, bulletproof. But there's a couple of things that we can continue tweaking. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much. This was it. Now we're going to go to the raffle. Let's see how many people did Flutter Live Coding while I was doing this. So let me just bring the usual suspects over to here. So I'm going to go to my wheel of names. It's pretty cool. Let me delete all of this. Good luck to everybody. And again, like I said, make sure you don't want to miss next episode where we're going to be live coding the submission of the application to the Google Play Store. It's going to be crazy, but I hope you guys stick around and see me there. It's weird. Happens to be. Okay, there you go. Awesome. Great. Thank you so much, guys, for all of you sticking around. Let's see who got the t-shirt today. Let's import our Twitter users, whoever did Flutter Live Coding. And again, thank you so much for sticking around. I'm actually going to be traveling for the next couple of days, but I'm trying to, I'm going to come back again next week and see if we can do it. If not, I'll definitely let you know. But I just want to appreciate, this has been an amazing ride. For 12 sessions, we were able to build this whole application, and now we're ready to publish it. So now let's see who's lucky enough. I'm going to remove myself, of course, to be fair. Now let's see who's going to win the Flutter t-shirt right now after I spin it. So good luck to everybody. And here we go. Good luck, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Who's going to get it today? And Zach. Oh, Zach, how you doing, buddy? You're there. You get a Flutter t-shirt. Thank you so much, Zach, for joining. I didn't know you were there. I'm glad. And I think I'm gonna be able to see you soon, right? So thank you so much for joining. This was let me just do the proper let me do the proper farewell. Again, thank you so much, everybody. Again, congrats, Zachary. I'm gonna send you your t-shirt very soon. I'm gonna reach out to you offline. But anyway, for the rest of you, thank you so much for sticking around. This was Live Coding After Hours, Flutter Edition. I am Roman, Flutter GDE. Thank you so much for joining. See you next one. Make sure to don't miss it because we're going to be publishing this application once and for all. So thank you so much for joining. Have a great night. See you next time. All right. Take care, guys.